Hello, I am Thieving Wolf, and if you clicked on this video, you've heard of the most recent hype train of Dead by Daylight, known as Springtrap, the spooky zombified corpse of a serial child killer in a golden rabbit suit. There's a lot of discussion in the Dead by Daylight community about how he would work. I also looked to the comments of these videos to see what other people had in mind for different perks and powers Springtrap can bring to Dead by Daylight. That's when I realized no one tries to think of how it should be balanced, usually in the form of overly specific perks or over-the-top abilities that have nothing to do with what the character does or is related to. So I thought I'd take the chance to come up with some arguably tame powers and abilities for Springtrap based off of what previous killers have been given as well as what I know from Five Nights at Freddy's. I'll also be calling Springtrap the Attraction for the rest of the video to keep up with Dead by Daylight's theme of killer names, such as the Trapper, the Nightmare, the Cannibal, stuff like that. First, I'm going to start off with the killer's power, and I call it the Curse of Fredbear. After 45 seconds, they begin to enter the madness state. However, this will be applied differently than what the doctor offers.
Madness 1. Action speed is reduced by 5%. Survivors can now be affected by the Attraction's special ability. Madness 2. Survivors lose the ability to perform great skill checks on abilities. The Attraction's terror radius can be heard from 16 meters from the survivor. Madness 3. The survivor becomes oblivious. Skill checks become moderately more difficult.
The point of this madness in comparison to the doctor is to make gem progression slower and the attraction stealthier. The action speed slowdown would also be fixed, as we don't need another Forever Freddy build equivalent where it takes too long to do any objective. It also plays into the hallucinations you suffer through while playing the original games, such as the Freddy with the bloodshot eyes or the "it's me" popping up while you play. But you can't have madness without a way to apply it, so I propose this special ability.
Special ability, Soul of Agony. Place down a Soul of Agony in front of the Attraction or within a locker. When the survivor steps near the Soul of Agony, it will rush towards them through all obstacles, making a loud noise, and blind the survivor, forcing them to scream. It increases madness.
This ability is a lot like Freddy's Dream Snares or the Doctor's Shock Therapy to really emphasize his jump scare abilities, especially on more compact maps such as the game or Larry's Memorial or the new Midwich Elementary. I thought it was a little too cut and dry, so I decided to take a step further and really boost the killer to new levels.
Special ability, Remnant. When a survivor is within Madness 3 and picked up by the Attraction, they may be taken to a spare suit. While survivors in a spare suit, they suffer the blindness effect and can be sacrificed as if they were on the hook. When a survivor dies in a spare suit, the Attraction can possess the new body, switching between them. When you swap suits, you are undetectable for 10 seconds.
I personally thought this would be an excellent spin on the FNAF suit stuffing, as it was Afton's goals in the books to make himself immortal through the power of Remnant. I'll admit it may be a little too much, but think about what it's like watching Springtrap be in 2 to 3 different places at once. Considering this build of him would be an M1 killer like the Trapper, I thought it'd be far enough of a stretch. Onto the perks. Personally, I feel the perk system in Dead by Daylight should be reworked to a different kind of system. But my idea is way too complicated, and maybe another video if people get curious. I created 3 perks that I thought were simplistic enough to be used on other killers without being overbearing on things that they do, as well as complement others if used in conjunction. First off, we have...
I always come back.
Your strength of will allows you to return from the farthest reaches. When you kick a generator, it is highlighted yellow, and for the next 15, 30, or 45 seconds, you press the Activate Ability button to call upon the entity to send you back within 10 meters of that generator.
Just like he catches you in game, he lives for 1 minute, but the minute you look away from him, he pounces. Next, a simple one.
Stuffed. The claustrophobic interior leaves you struggling for air. When a survivor leaves a locker, they are exhausted for 5, 10, or 15 seconds.
Taking a page from Iron Maiden's book, this would definitely punish anyone who tries to abuse lockers by jumping into a locker to force a grab, or bait with head on. When they come out, they would be unable to use exhaustion perks getting away from the killer, such as Sprint Burst, or Lithe, or Balanced Landing.
Fazbear Fright. When you stand still for 2 seconds, gain haste for 3, 4, or 5 seconds.
Dead by Daylight has a sound that triggers when the killer suddenly moves after standing still. It's of course called the jump scare noise, but it's fitting to have a perk that finally aligns with what it means to suddenly have the killer jump at you. This can make unsafe pallet mind games that much more dangerous without having the killer bloodlust you the entire time. It would also benefit stalking characters such as Ghostface and Myers, allowing them to get in close quickly, or stealthy killers for gen grabs. I could probably come up with better perks if I put a couple days into brainstorming, but I'm not that invested into Springtrap in DBD. When it comes to cosmetics, you could of course recolor him to things like Shadow Bonnie and the undamaged Golden Bonnie, or just plain Purple Guy. But other than that, you have your options such as Freddy and Foxy and Chica and the like. When it comes to the Mori, it could only be one of two things, either a bite or a spring lock failure. With a bite, there would be two perspectives. Survivors in a very close third-person camera or first-person camera stand up on their own, and they snap around to look behind them to see if the killer isn't there, only to turn back around into a jump scare lunge into a head bite, to which they promptly drop dead at Springtrap's feet. With the Springlock failures, I see it where Springtrap would pick up a survivor off the ground, then proceed to have the camera turn to his back, and essentially he opens up and turns himself into an Iron Maiden for the survivor for about 2-3 seconds, however long the animation would be, before dropping them to the ground. Of course, we wouldn't see them pin-cushioned, but we would all know that they're very much dead. That about covers everything that would come with implementing a new killer into Dead by Daylight. I'd like to give a thank you to my friend Valeus for his voiceover work, and I will see you in another one day. Thank you for watching.